Yeah, Prem. Sorry. One sec. Yeah. So Prem, you are getting that output for the second option, right? Or search searching all student data. For that, you are getting the output like that, or which option?
Yes. So queries are both the same, but I'm getting the output in different manner. Like for the student table, it is fetching again, firing query again and again. And
Mm.
but for the code, it is returning me the list of the query. So it is iterating on the list and giving me the output.
Sorry, yeah. So guys, Prem, you can see happened. I had to remove the course details from string method present in student. Uh, yeah. So regarding that, okay. See, Prem, guys, just you can also see. Okay, so in the T subject DO, I have declared a method public which returns return type of the method is like list of subject. The method name I have given as find all subject, and the query I have written see select S from subject S, and query I'm creating the query object from the manager create query and executing that one. Okay, so I'm just invoking the method like get result list. Okay, so I'm just invoking the method get results list. It will return me a list of subject from that particular table. Okay, so similarly for teacher also I have written the query. So select T from teacher, query q is equal to manager dot getting q dot get result list. Okay, and then if I'm invoking that method, see, I'm just directly create the object, and on that object only I'm invoking this method. Okay, I didn't use that reference variable. I'm not going to create a reference variable for subject DAO and call this one. Okay, so to like only one call I need to make, so that is the reason I went directly. So similarly for teachers also I have done the same thing, and he was getting that multiple times query. The reason, okay, so first select student, student details was selecting, then it tried to print that. Okay, so leave about, but the course query also is getting. The reason is like he has used the toString method inside his implementation. Okay, so that means like he has used the toString method in his yeah. So in his like entity classes, student and course. Okay, so he went to the toString. So regarding that, there is a topic something called as like fetch type, guys. Okay, so regarding that, I will tell you, there is a concept something called as like fetch type. Okay, so that time I will explain in detail about that. Okay, so this is the related to fetch type. Okay, so whenever I am trying to fetch particular, what happens we need to see. There are mainly two types of fetch types are there. One is eager fetch type and another one is lazy. Okay, so yeah. So guys, so there is something called as fetch type. There is lazy and eager fetch type are there. Okay, using that you will be understanding this. Okay, so why that queries are generating multiple times. Prem, you can see now. Okay, in the teacher. Okay, so I'm trying to get id, name. Okay, after that I'm trying to get the subject. Okay, so suppose assume that I'm not getting this subject. Okay, so I'm not getting the details of subject. At the time the query as we have planned, like that only it is running, right? See, if you want to see, you can see, if I run this subject details, uh, so it will be printed. Yeah, and teacher. Okay, so subject also it will be fetching once, and teacher details also it is going to fetch once. Suppose if I'm going to fetch the teacher details. Okay, so if I'm going to fetch the teacher details. Okay, so in the, sorry, subject details in the teacher. If I'm going to fetch the subject details in the teacher, you can see I'm in the teacher object. Okay, you can see that. Wait, yeah. So sorry. In this teacher class, we have a list of subject, right? So whenever I'm trying to get the subject details from the teacher object, that time the teacher query has to be run. Okay, sorry, subject query has to be also must be run. So get the subject details. Okay, so that is the reason you are getting that out or the multiple queries. See, you can see. So first it is fetching the teacher details, then it is fetching the subject belongings to that particular teacher. Okay, so what are the subject that particular teacher is going to take? And I forgot. Okay, so let me take the, instead of ID, let me go with the name. And if I run, you can see. So it is printing teacher ID name along with the subject name. So that is the reason. So as you have overloaded that or overridden, yeah, so overridden that two string method, so automatically it is trying to get. Okay, so you are trying to print the course details also in the student class. So that is the reason you are getting that query multiple times. Okay, so guys, till now whatever the operation we have done. Okay, so I hope we have done the operation like one to many, sorry, one to one, and one to many, many to one, and many to many. Okay, so in this, do you have any doubts, guys? Do you have any doubts till what are the relationship we have seen? No. Okay, so in one to one, sorry, in one to one, what was the example I have taken? One person and one pan card, right? One person and one pan card. Now, okay, so whenever we are trying to fetch the person details. Okay, so we can also, so in the person, as we can say, so that is the owning side, and pan is the non-owning side, right? So we have a relationship like in the person class. Okay, so assume that I'm going to declare person class, and inside this I'll be declaring the ID, then the name for the person, particular person, and then what are the fields I have taken? Age, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so I've taken the age, right? And then I create a reference variable of pan, yeah, so pan here. Okay, and then I use an annotation, something called as like one person can have one pan, so one to one. This is the annotation I have been used, and then I use the getters and setters, no parameterized constructors, all those things. Okay, so this is the person details. Now, let me take. Okay, so and similarly, I have declared pan. and pan for pan I have given the ID. Okay, and then I have declared pan number, right? So I have declared the pan number. Then after that, like I've been given a name, right? So pan number and pan name. Again, given one more like pan name. So these are the information I have been saved in the pan. Now, guys, you tell me, I will try to fetch the pan details from the person object. So see, here simple. Whenever I'm trying to fetch the person, okay, so whenever I'm trying to get the person details, at the time I can also get the pan details, right? Yes or no, guys? Whenever I'm trying to fetch the person details, I can also get the pan details. Okay, so suppose assume that there is a requirement. Okay, so there is a scenario. Whenever I'm going to pass the person ID, I need to get his pan details also. Yes or no? Yeah. So similarly, there will be one more scenario. Okay. So suppose someone just will enter a pan details. Okay. So pan number. So he's going to enter the pan number. At the time, I need to give a response as a who is the owner of that pan number. I need to provide a response. Is that possible in this scenario? Suppose I will be having a pan number. Okay. So assume that I'll be having pan ID. Okay, so what are the pan details I'm going to store? Yeah, so pan ID is present with us. In that I have given the pan ID as, so pan ID is equal to 101. Let it be 101. Now I have a pan ID. So whenever I will be giving user is going to give a pan ID. So I can fetch the pan details like his number, name. Will I get his details like ID, name, age, and all? The person, who is the person, person ID, what is the person name, what is the person age? I'm not getting, right? Did you try that one? Execute and check, guys. Execute and check whenever you're trying to fetch the person details. Okay, so select based on by id only when you write the method. Okay, find by method is there, right? So find, use that method and try to execute and check and let me know. Try to fetch person details, okay, and see whether pan object is exist or not. Try to fetch pan details and see whether person object is exist or not.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, I'm not understanding how do I two-string method in this program. So I'm not understanding how to override it. So
How to override to string you're not getting, or how it is dealing with the program you're not getting.
so how it is dealing with the program and yes, sir.
Yeah. See, in Hibernate there is a, okay. In Hibernate there is something called as fetch type. Guys, regarding that fetch type and all, I will explain you. Okay, so that like fetch type is nothing but there is something called as like eager fetch type and lazy fetch type. That is, yeah. You guys can hear me, right? Guys, in Hibernate there is something called as fetch type. Fetch type is there. Okay, so whenever we are fetching the owning side object, okay, non-owning side object will also be fetched. Whenever, okay, so that will be occurs, that can be done if we are using, okay, so there if it is a eager, automatically that fetch operation will be done. Okay, so if it is a lazy, then whenever we are trying to uh, whenever we are trying to making use of non-owning side object. Okay, so in that previous example you can see, when I'm going to fetch the details of teacher and display the teacher details, I was not getting the course details, right? So when I went, okay, so I provide an implementation to display the course name or course ID also. Okay, so the subject ID, subject name. So first, initially, I was fetching the, sorry, initially I was fetching the teacher details and I am trying to display teacher ID and name. At the time I didn't get that course details. Course object does not exist with that teacher. Okay, so list of subject does not exist. So when I try to print, or yeah, so when I try to when I provide an implementation to get a subject in that list of okay, so in the teacher object we will be having a list of subject. In that I provide an implementation to get the zeroth index subject and try to print the subject name. At the time you might have noticed that in the query, okay, in the SQL query, SQL query has been written to fetch the subject, right? And then it is displaying. That is what we call it as a lazy. As we guys are using the two string methods, okay, so if we are using two string methods, inside that two string, okay, usually we will use that eclipse to override the two string method. So what are the fields are exist in our program, based on that fields the two string method will be executed or two string method will be written. So we will be overriding the two string method in the subject class, as well as we will be overriding the two string method in the teacher class. When we override the two string method in the teacher class, it is trying to write a logic. Okay, so in the two string method, it is trying to display that list of subjects. Okay, so it is use that variable to display. Okay, in the SOP statement it is going to display list of subject, and in the subject class we will be providing the implementation to display the subject details like ID, name, and number of days. So automatically it is going to, so whenever we are going to write a query, fetch all the details or fetch a particular teacher, at the time subject will also be fetched. That query has been generated and it is going to fetch from the database and it will be displayed. Okay, so you will get to know once I explain the fetch type, you will be understanding, guys.
So how to write in the program, sir, and how to execute it, sir?
Which one? Two
The
string method.
testing, so yes, sir. It's
In Eclipse there is a shortcut, right? You can use that to generate the two string. See now, yeah, so this is the pan class, right? Okay, you can see I don't have the two string method here, so I have just getters and setters, and some fields are there, no parameterized constructor is there. Now let me add the two string method. To add a two string method, so in the source you can see here,
yeah.
in the
The
source
source.
you can just go for generate two string.
Yes,
It
sir.
will give the fields, whatever the fields are there, you can select that and then go for generate. So automatically the two string method will be added.
Okay, sir.
That's all. So no need to add in the like mapping, no need to add this two string. I will tell you like when you can add it. If you add some exceptions will be occurring. Okay, so that is the reason
Okay.
I'm not adding. And to explain that fetch type, it will be a little confusing. So that is the reason I'm not adding the two string here. You guys can also avoid that adding the two string in this entity classes now.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so guys, did you check that? Okay, so let me try. Okay, so let me show you in the DAO. I think I have written the logic. Yeah, so here you can see. Okay, and yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have that logic. Okay, so person P, manager dot find person details. Okay, and then I'm trying to fetch the ID, name, age of a person, and then I'm trying to get the PAN details also. Okay, now let me run this and see what is the output we are going to. Oh, let me observe the queries, guys. Okay, so let us observe the query. What is the thing is happening when I'm going to run this? Oh, they are not there. Sorry. One second, sorry. Yeah. So I need to run this class particularly. So run as the main method here. Okay. ಇದು main method ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಹೆಂಗೋ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವತ್ತು. Okay, just I think I changed that one. So let me run this. Yeah. So here you can see guys, select person. Okay, so select person ID, name, person age, person name. Okay, so along with that, it is also selecting the PAN details. Okay, so I'm will first let me avoid this one. I'll go for company PAN details. Just I will try to fetch the person details. Okay, so let me run this and see what happens. Yeah, so select person details. Yeah, you can notice here, right? So it is fetching the person details. Okay, so select person ID and person age. Then it is fetching the person name. Okay, and then it is fetching the PAN ID. Okay, so PAN ID. Okay, so it is fetching the PAN ID plus PAN name, and you can see PAN number. Okay, so it is fetching also PAN number. Also, it is fetching as PAN. Yeah, so from the person table, and it is going with the left outer join. Okay, so it is using the joins concept, guys. Here you can see it is using the join concept, and it is fetching a PAN object also. Okay, so PAN ID, yeah, and person ID it is fetching. Did you notice that? Right? Okay, so let me run this PAN. Okay, so I will comment this one. Okay, so let me comment this person details and try to fetch the PAN details. So I'm just passing the PAN ID and try to run this query. Okay, so now you see here, so select PAN ID, okay, PAN name and PAN number from PAN table. That's all. It is not fetching the person details, right? It is not fetching the person details, but whenever I am trying to fetch the person details, it is also fetching the PAN details, right? Did you notice the difference? Now you got an idea, like whenever I'm fetching the owning side object, non-owning side object is also going to fetch from the database. So whenever fetching the non-owning side object, owning side object is not fetching, or it is not getting from the database. How to overcome from this? Do you have any idea, guys? How to overcome from this scenario? See, I'm fetching PAN object at the time person is not getting. So yeah, so there is a way. Okay, so we can overcome. Okay, so there are two ways, multiple ways are there. Like for example, like we can write a query in like we can fetch the complete person details, and then we can check, okay, inside that person object, so the PAN object will be there in that. Okay, so PAN ID is matching to the given input PAN ID, then we can display that one. That is the one scenario. So that is what business logic we can write. Okay, so as the developer Java programmer, I can go with that, or else so I'm not going to write that much of implementation. Okay, so I need to write that much of implementation. At the time what I can do is I can write a query with respect to that Yeah, so inside the pan object I can write a query in such a way that, okay, so that subqueries or left a joins query we can use, and we can write a query and we can get the details. Okay, so as we are the Java developer, I said while starting the Hibernate, no need to worry about SQL queries, right? No need to worry, or no need to um, take tension about the SQL queries. Okay, so I said Hibernate will help me out. So here, Hibernate is going to provide us to overcome from this scenario. Hibernate is going to help us with something called as bi-directional, guys. Till now, whatever the operations we have seen, that is unidirectional. Okay, so one side, that is owning side will be there and non-owning side will be there. So whenever I'm going to get the details of owning side, non-owning side object will also be received. So Hibernate will write a query. Whenever like Yeah, so whenever I'm going to fetch the owning side object, non-owning side object will also be received. That query will be written by the Hibernate. Now, the scenario is whenever I'm going to fetch the non-owning side object, at the time owning side object also be received. For example, like whenever I'm trying to fetch the pan details, person details also be received, right? Also, I need to get the person details also. So at the time, we need to go for making use of this bi-directional. Okay, so we need to go for making use of this bi-directional, guys. Okay, so just give me a second. I will show, okay, how to perform this bi-directional. Just one second. Yeah, guys. Now, okay, correct. Now I said, okay, so we need to go for bi-directional. Okay, so in this, let me explain. Okay, so how to go for this bi-directional. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first I will provide. Okay, let us go for direct implementation only. So what I'm going to do is I will just create a one more package. Sorry, one more project. Okay, it's file new Maven project, and I will go with the simple project. Next, I'm going to make use of, I'm going to give the group ID as edu.jsp. Okay, artifact ID, I'm going to give it as like 2. Sorry, okay, so 121 underscore B. Okay, that stands for bidirectional. I'm going to give the name. Okay, so whatever. Yeah, so project name, I'm going to give it as like 121 bidirectional. BI stands for bidirectional, guys, and click finish. So it is getting, okay, so let me wait until unless the project has been as to be created. Yeah, so project has been created successfully. Okay, what I'm going to do is just I will close all these things, close all. Let me open this. Yeah, so everything is there. Now I need to set up the, I need to add the dependencies. Okay, I will copy the dependencies from one to one unidirection. Okay, so from this one to one unidirection, I will just take the dependencies. Okay, so the complete dependency tag, and let me add that dependency in one to one BI. Okay, so here under the version, I'm going to add the dependencies. I hope you guys can see the screen, right? Cool. So dependencies have been added, and as soon as I click save, automatically the dependencies will be added to my Maven repository. You can see MySQL connector and Hibernate required dependencies has been added. Java X persistence API, everything is present. Fine. Now, once the dependency has been added, one sec. Yeah, sorry guys. Where I was. Okay, so just added the dependencies. Then the next step, that resource. Okay, so the next step is to add that persistence unit to my application. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will go back to my UNI and copy this meta folder directly. Okay, so I'm going to copy this meta folder directly and come to this src me and paste it. Right click again and go for paste. Yeah, so that has been added to my system. Yeah, guys, make sure that you will be copying and pasting, not cut and paste. If you cut and paste, that will be removed. Okay. Yeah. So instead of UNI, I will go with the database name as BI. Okay. So let me see the database. Let me create ladder. Okay. So just we will go with the implementation part. Okay. So once this is added, let me close this UNI, come back to BI, right click on this project, go for Maven and go for update project and select force update and click OK. So once for a safer side, I'm going for update operation. Yeah, done. Now in this, okay, so let me add this. Okay, so now let me go for create a entity class. Class. Okay, so I'm going to create an entity class under edu.jsp. The project is 1 to 1 bidirectional. Okay, dot en sorry, dto is the package I will be creating, and here I'm going to create the with the same classes like person and pan. I will be going with. I'm going with the example like person and similarly pan. Okay, so now I need to make this class as an entity at the rate. So I'll use this entity. Why? Okay, so it is giving entity as no primary key. Fine. I will declare await int id, and I will make this id as a primary key. Then I will go for declaring the details like his name, private string person name, then private string, sorry, int age of the person. Then the pan details has to be present, right? So private pan pan. Yeah, yeah. So it is giving error. The reason why it is giving error, I don't have that pan object. Okay, so I just create a class by the name as pan under DTO. Click finish. Yeah, so the error has been gone. Now here in the previous like unidirectional, what is the annotation we have used? The annotation we are going to use as 1 to 1, right? So just use the same annotation, guys. Yeah, so it is giving again error because it is saying that pan is not an entity class. Fine, not an issue. We will make that as entity class. Yeah, so it is fine. Okay, so come back to pan class and use that annotation at the rate entity As soon as you use that entity annotation, you can see that error has been removed. Okay, and here again here I'm getting error because I don't have that primary key. Okay, so let me declare that primary key int id. I'm going to make this id as a primary key, then go for having private string pan number, then I will be having private string pan name. So now guys, in the person I will be adding one no parameterized constructor, just a simple entity class I'm doing guys. Okay, so not anything else, I'm just doing a simple entity class. I added a no parameterized constructor here, and then let me add the getters and setters for this class. Select all, add all the getters and setters. Yeah, done. So in the resource you can get the shortcut guys. Okay, so all the getters and setters to string method can be overridden. Okay, so if you want to override a full constructor which is having a full fields, okay, so all the fields excepting constructor, we can go for it, go for this one option. Okay, fine. Yeah, so now what is my logic? Okay, yeah, sorry. Now I will add the getters and setters here also in a moment. Okay, so we'll move for getters and setters, select all. Yeah. Now, and I need to add a no parameterized constructor, right? So let me add that no parameterized constructor. Yeah, so I'm adding this no parameterized constructor. Okay. Now, what is my scenario? Or in this scenario, what is the like? What is the question, or what is the thing? What is the main concept? Is whenever I fetch this pan details, at the time I need to get the person details also, right? Yes or no, guys? So that was my thing. Okay. So whenever I'm trying to get the pan details, at the time I need to get the person details. So if I want to get the person details whenever I'm trying to get the pan details, then the person object reference variable has to be present here, right? So at the time I need to have a reference variable of person object here. Then only I can get that person details, right? So then only I can get that person details. So what I'm going to do is inside my pan class. Okay, so here inside this pan class, I'm going to declare a variable of person. Okay, so person here. If I have a variable called person inside the pan object, then only I am going to get the person details, right? And again, so now, yeah, so here I'm using this relationship. Okay, so yeah, I need to inform a relationship between pan and person. So what is the relationship will be there from the pan and person? I need to inform to my Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate, my pan and person will have a relationship. Okay, so pan and person. So one pan card number can be belongs to one person, right? So again, I'm using the annotation 1 to 1 year. Okay, so I'm informing my Hibernate. Okay, so a Hibernate, I have created a reference variable of person in the pan class. Okay, and there is a relationship between pan and person is 1 to 1. Okay, so 1 to 1 relationship will be there. Okay, so along, okay, so now with this, let me see what is the output we are going to receive. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just create a simple class as main app, and services. Okay, so under service, I'm going to create a main app and I will add a main method to here. And let me create entity manager factory, factory. equal to persistence, sorry, not person, persistence dot create entity manager factory, and then I am passing the uh, persistence unit name. So in my system, the persistent unit name is Manoj. I will be giving it as a Manoj, and then I will close this one. Okay. Then let me create entity manager object. So reference variable I'm using as manager. So if to create an object of this entity manager, I'm going to use that entity manager factory and invoking a method create entity manager. Then let me have that transaction also. So transaction equal to get a transaction, I'm invoking that get transaction method from the manager. Now let me create a person object. Person p equal to new person. Okay. Then let me create p dot set id. I'm going to set the id of person as 101. P dot set name. Name of a person I'm going to set is name of a person I'm going to give it as like Dinga. Okay. Then p dot set age. Okay. So age of a person I'm going to give it as like 27. Then I need to set the pan. Right. Let me create a pan object. Pan p equal to new pan. Okay, so I need to input that. That is a okay. So okay, already pan p is used. Okay, so pan. Okay, go with the person only. So I'll use this reference variable for all the. Now let me use this pan object. Pan dot set id. So id for pan. Okay, I'm going to give it as like 501. Let me give the id as 501. Pan dot set pan name. Okay, so the name of the pan Dinga will be having din Dinga. Okay, so some initial I will be giving R. So pan dot set pan number. So pan number of Dinga will be like okay, so some random name number I'm going to give it as guys. Okay, not original pan number. Yeah, so it must be a completely caps. Then we need to set the pan this one person to the pan object, right? So I didn't override the toString method here for person. Okay, I didn't get, yeah, so I didn't override the toString method for this person. Okay, let me add the toString methods for the person also. So I will go for getters and setters and select the field person getter setter method, and I will be adding. See, I'm just adding the person getter method and setter method for the person. And then I'll save this, come back, let me know that pan dot set person and person object I'm setting. So then again, so let me set the person dot set pan. Okay, so pan object I need to set. Yeah. So now I have set it. Now if I try to fetch the pan details, will I get a pan object also? Sorry, guys, when I'm trying to fetch the pan details, will I get a person object also? No. Okay, so guys, let me save this and see. Okay, so what happens? So to save, again, begin the transaction, transaction dot begin. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I will use this. I'm going to save again, same thing, manager dot persist. Let me save the pan object first, then go for manager dot so persist person object, then transaction dot commit. Okay, and inside my database I need to create a table with a name. Sorry, database. Oh God. Database with a name as mentioned inside this persistent.xml. Okay, so the name, yeah, I'm going to give the name as one to one bidirectional. Okay, so let me create that database name. Previously I will be having topic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me share the screen. Okay, so let me create a table. Sorry, database. Database name. I'm going to give it as like one to one bidirectional. Click apply, finish. Okay, then so let me run this program and see what is the output I am going to receive. I'm going to run this. Let me see any exception occurs. Anything is there. Let me know. So getting, yeah. So created a pan table. Da, 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 everything is done. Select person ID. Okay, person. It is running the select. Insert into pan. Yeah, it is running. See, the tables are get created. Okay, yeah. So we got it. Database. Yeah. So we got a person, pan, everything. Okay. So let me see in the pan. Yeah, I have person ID. Let me see in the person. I have pan ID. Cool. So it is working, right? It is working fine. So you can see in the pan table also I have this person ID. Sorry. Yeah. So this is person table, guys. Okay. So in the person table I have the pan ID. Similarly, in the pan table I have a person ID. Okay. So now let me try to fetch the details. Okay. So let us go for fetch the details. I will be commenting this operation. Okay, so let me try to fetch manager dot pan. Sorry, find. Let me go for find the first. Initially, let us find the pan ID. Okay, ID. So ID given as find out one. Fine, and then so it is going to return me a pan object, right? It is going to return me a pan object. Now I need to collect that. So pan pan1 equal to this. And yeah, so let me try to print that sop of pan1 dot get id. Let me go with pan name. Okay, so let me go with name of the pan. First let us run this and see what is the output, what is the query it is. See guys, the query has been generated is select pan id, pan name, pan number. Okay, along with that I'm getting the person id, right? Person age, person name, person pan id again. It is recurring. See, the query is recurring. Okay, fine, but I'm getting the details, right? The query is repeating. That's fine. Leave. I will give. Okay, I will give the solution for that also. So right, yes or no? See here, you can see the person ID, name, age. I'm getting. Yeah. Okay, so now if I try to fetch the person details, okay, so instead of this pan, okay, now let me comment this. Let me try to get the manager dot find person details. Okay, so let me try to fetch the person details. The person ID I have given as 101. Okay, so I will be getting that person details, right? So okay, person name. will try to run this. Yeah. So select person ID, age, name, and then PAN ID, PAN ID, PAN name, PAN number, right? Again, person ID. Okay, so it is recursing. That is not an issue. But I'm in both the ways I'm getting, right? So in the both the ways I'm getting, but the query is recurring. Okay, so like again, once again, it is fetching the PAN details. Once again, it is fetching the person details. Why? The reason is simple, guys. In the table, you can see. Okay, so in the table, in the PAN, whenever I'm trying to fetch the PAN details, whenever I'm trying to fetch the PAN details, at the time the Hibernate is going to fetch the PAN details, and then by taking the person ID, it is going to try to fetch the person details also. So in the person table, again I have the PAN ID, then it is again going to the PAN details and trying to fetch the again PAN details, again person. So this is what repeating. Okay, so now we need to eliminate in one of the table. While in the PAN we can eliminate, or I can go for eliminating in the person also. Okay, so we can eliminate that, then also it will be working as both the direction. Okay, uh, I hope you got a logic, right? Why I need to eliminate one column in both the like any one of these fields. You are getting confused here. So first of all, let me, okay, so guys, come, let us come to a conclusion. So you got to know why we are going for the bidirectional. What about others, guys? One or two guys are responding. What about others? Fine. Okay. So now, why I am going to remove a column? The reason is the query is repeating multiple times. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, so we only one column is required. That is like either in the person class we require a one column, or a PAN class we can go for one column. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Priyanka, I'm here.
So if we remove any one of the columns, sir, so then again it will fetch only ID of the pan.
No. It will not fetch. That is the reason I will tell you like how we can yeah, we can remove that. And while removing, I will be informing my Hibernate. Sorry, just give me a second.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to inform my Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate, I'm making a relationship bidirectional. Okay, and then I need to remove one of the column. So whenever I'm trying to fetch the details of that owning side or non-owning side, so that both the side you need to fetch. Okay, so I'm informing that one. Okay, so that is the thing we can mention that. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah, sorry guys. Let me share the screen. Okay, once again, just give me a second. Okay, let me share the entire screen so that you can see. Okay, fine. Guys, yeah, I will share the code also, not an issue. Fine. See, uh, yeah, I said okay. So any one of the column is required. Okay, and I'm informing. I need to inform my Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate, I am going to remove the column. Okay, so I'm going to remove a column from the pan class. The person ID I will be removing. At the time, what I'm going to do is I will use an annotation, something called as join column. Okay, so I'm informing my Hibernate. Okay, I'm joining a column of the person pan ID. Okay, so in the person class, I'm joining a column of pan ID here. So I'm informing my Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate, I'm going to, yeah, so I'm going to joining a column in my person ID person table for the pan ID. Okay, so for pan ID, I'm going to join a column. I will be adding a column in the person details. And then in the pan class, okay, so in the pan class, okay, I don't need that. Okay, so I will be informing, I'm going to inform my Hibernate. Okay, so Hibernate will provide an attribute called as mapped by. Okay, so this will be helps us to fetch. Okay, so this will be helps us to provide the details. Okay, so mapped by, why I'm using this attribute called as mapped by is simple. Okay, so whenever, yeah, so when I use this annotation map, sorry, attribute called as mapped by, it is not going to add a column inside my pan details. And one more thing is that whenever I'm going to fetch the details of pan by using a pan ID, at the time it is going to fetch the details of person also. Okay, so it will be internally write a query to select such a way that, okay, so it is going to write a query internally in, to select the sub person details and the pan details in such a way that based on the pan ID, what is the person details exist, it is going to fetch the details and it is going to return me. Okay, so here mapped by, I need to provide the, okay, so in the mapped by, and here I need to pass some value. Okay, that is nothing but what is the variable name or a reference variable name I'm using inside this person class for to map with the pan class. That is the name I need to use. So here you can see I am using the name as pan. So just I need to use this pan here and then save that. Okay, so here I am using two things extra, guys. One is an annotation, something called as join column. Okay, so I'm informing my Hibernate, I'm joining a column from the person table and the pan table as in one entity, so that like in one table I'm going to use that only, I will be having a one, only one column that is called as person pan, sorry, yeah, in this scenario that is like pan ID. Okay, and then I'm informing my Hibernate, whenever I'm trying to fetch the pan object, I need to get the person details also. Okay, so this is how I'm informing my Hibernate. Now I change some implementation in this entity classes, right? So let me drop the tables, existing tables. Okay, so let me, okay, so here you can see in both the tables we have that columns. Okay, so pan ID is there as well as person ID is also there. Let me drop these. I'm going to close this and let me select the tables and go for drop this table. Okay, so select these both the tables and click on this drop two tables. I'm dropping this, drop now, and I made some changes, right? So let me come back to my main app and comment this select operation. Okay, so uncomment this save operation. I'm going to uncomment and save this. Let me run this class. Now let us see what is the tables are getting created, what is the query will be having. Okay, so see table. Okay, so I got a table statement I received. Okay, so create table pan with the ID name and the primary key. Okay, then person ID integer name pan ID primary key. Okay, alter table person and construct foreign key. Okay, so it is setting pan ID as a foreign key. Now let us see with respect to the RDBMS application. I need to refresh. Okay, so pan, we have the pan details only. Inside this pan table, we have pan details only. Right now, where I was, sorry. Yeah. So now let me see the person details. Yeah. So 101, 27, Dinga, 501. So pan ID is present. Right. So now see in this pan table, we don't have that person ID, right? Now let me give a request to fetch the pan details. Okay. So let us see what is whether person details will be fetching from the database or not. Let us try to give request. See, I'm just fetching the pan details and let us observe the query. What happens? As soon as I run this, oh, some exception. I don't know what is that exception wrong. One second, find out one. See, yeah, sorry. One second, guys. Yeah, sorry. So here I'm getting this exception. The reason I'm trying to save. Okay, so save the details of PAN and person with the existing ID. Okay, so 101, 501 already exists. So that is the reason I'm getting this exception. You can see here, persistent exception could not execute statement. Go down. Could not execute the statement again. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, yeah. So here the proper message it is giving. Duplicate entry 501 for PAN primary key. Okay, so that is the reason it's giving me that exception. Let me comment this save operation or persistence operation, and then let me run this program. Yeah, so just I'm performing the fetch operation. Find. Yeah, you can see select pan ID, pan name. Yeah, so pan number, and yeah, you can see person ID, and I'm getting the person age, and I'm getting the person name as name. Okay, okay. So pan ID person, pan ID as pan ID from pan left outer join person on ID equal to person pan ID. Okay, so here you can see it is writing a query. Okay, setting a query to fetch the details of. Okay, so it is writing internally writing a query to fetch the details of pan along with the person also. Guys, any confusion here? I the concept, right? Why we need to go for bidirectional and why I am using that macro and join column also. Okay. So I will share this two entities class. Okay. So whatever entity class I have created, I will be sharing that in the group. You guys provide the DO for this, both entities like PAN and person. Similarly, try to provide the implementation for company and GST. That I think, like, yeah, so company and GST also. Go for bidirectional. Yeah, that also I will share in the classroom. Okay, that's all, guys. So, guys, I think, like, yeah. So that's all for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Let me share the code first. Guys, just I'm sharing, sir. I'm having problem deleting non class. Okay, so yeah, so that also I will write the query and I will sorry implementation and I will share you. Not an issue. Where I was, is sharing this one-to-one bidirectional code here. Okay, so it's just the entity class I'm going to share with you. Go through on that. Okay, so along with that, try to complete that GST also. Okay, so for company and GST also, you need to write a logic. Okay, so go for bidirectional. Create one more project as one-to-one bidirectional. Inside that, have these both person and pan entity classes along with that company and GST also. You can write inside in the same one-to-one bidirectional. Go for bidirectional, guys. Okay, so ish like I mean non-owning owners classes. Yeah, so while if you want to delete the non-owning side object, then you need to remove that relationship. Okay, so some business logic we need to write. I will share the code, not an issue. Okay, so and in the next class I will explain that. Okay, so that's okay with Ash. I will explain in the next session. Okay, tomorrow is holiday for the Holi festival. Eh, no holiday. Okay, so we don't have any holiday. Yeah. So how many of you want holiday? No, yes or no? So 0 is to 2. What about others, guys? No needs are no. 0 is to 4. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Fine, then we will have class tomorrow. Not an issue. If anything is there, I will ask the HRs to update you guys. Okay. Okay. So have a nice day, guys. Okay. Happy Holi. Yeah. Take care. Bye. So find the course, find a list of students. Students